Hi folks, it's your friendly MOW foreman here, Alaska Central Railroad, and I'm going to show you another project we got going on. Actually, for some folks that are on Backyard Railroading on Facebook, you've seen some photos on our Ballast Tipple, and for those that haven't seen anything to do with our Ballast Tipple, you're going to see it, and maybe you'll get some ideas for your own Ballast Tipple. So right now we're on the passenger main, and we're at the switch for the new Tipple Spur or Ballast Spur. We haven't really figured out a real name yet. I'm kind of torn between Ballast Spur or the Tipple Spur, but we'll get to the name official later. So a couple weeks ago, I did drop the switch in here. It wasn't a big deal. I gotta do some propping of the rail, and we're gonna realign some of this curve and what have you. But the main thing was we got the switch dropped in. So some of the videos you've seen, we did a major realignment in front of the station this summer, and instead of reusing the old main, we actually removed the old main and put down new track, because in some cases it's easier to work with a new chunk of track than the old track. So these panels right here are the old main, and we already got the road bed down. We got the pipe bar down. We got to semi take this apart and loosen up the screws and put the curve in. So it's going to be a bit of a tight curve, so it's a 4-axle only track, MAC prohibited, SD prohibited. We only have one set of locomotives that are 6-axle, so it doesn't really matter. They don't all work trains anyway. So not really sure why the type bar is like that, but that's kind of interesting. Come on up here, and this is our Tipple right here. Ooh, like that smack. You know why?
It's solid.
It's because it is full of ballast. So this is this Tipple was made. Oh gosh, I think Jack said it was made like 30 years ago or somewhere about that. It's been a long time. It was used at our old place, the old place out on Wasilla Airport property, near the Transportation Museum, and it was used there. And then after everything was moved here, this Tipple was out at our J&B gravel pit. And then last year we brought it back out here, and we got the road bed built. But because it's in a soggy area, we put the road bed in and we waited a year for everything to settle. And we haven't gotten to the point to lay the track in here yet because, well, if you've seen by the looks of some of our other videos, you've seen that we're busy with a bunch of other projects, from track work, putting the new main in, to regular maintenance, all that. So this is kind of, I don't want to say it's taking a back burner, but it's not quite on the top of the priority list. So if you come down over here, so the track's going to run here, and it's going to go under here. Now, you can see that the ground and the Tipple, there's not a lot of space in here. Don't worry, folks. We still have to kind of excavate the road bed out a little bit. So this right here is where all the rocks shoot out and go into the hoppers. Now, the reason why the road bed is how it is to minimize spillage. We want to have the top of the hopper, or I should say the hopper car, right? We want to have the top of the ballast hopper somewhere around about 3 inches from the bottom of the Tipple. The reason why is so we minimize spillage, because if we spill a bunch of ballast, we're wasting money. We have a mess that we have to clean up, and it's just not good. So what we'll do is when we get the track up to here and we start excavating this out, we'll bring one of the ballast hoppers in here and test it out. We currently have 2. We do have a third one that will be arriving, I think, next year. And then we have our side dumps that sometimes we do put ballast in, depending on what our needs are. So once we get that done, we'll be able to shove our hoppers in here and load it up. And so how this works, and I'm sorry, this is full of ballast, and obviously I can't really show you how this works. But if you come down over here, what this does is this threads in and out. So when you take your wrench, or there's going to be like an impact with the right size socket. I think this is like a 1-inch. Anyway, there's going to be the socket for that. Then that way, all you got to do is just open it up. This slides out. The ballast drops in, and you fill up your car. And there's actually two ends, right? So there's that end, and then there's this end. So you could fill up, you can't, I don't know if you can fill 2 cars at the same time because of the space, but for sure you have 2 ends that you could be filling. So this is our flying logo. Obviously there's some people here that are Rio Grande fans. Now you're gonna wonder, are there any plans? Are there any like real measurements for this? Well, Jack Klingbeil, our founder here, he and another gentleman decided to build this, and they really didn't have anything in mind. They just built it, but it comes out to hold about 22, what did he say, like 22 yards of ballast, I think is what he said, about 22 yards. And I might be off a little bit on that, but I think that's what he said. So this should fill quite a number of our ballast hoppers, or I should say, a number of times filling up our cars, and that way we can just back in, fill up, and leave. Currently, how we are filling up our ballast hoppers or gators is we're using a small front end loader, and then we're filling up either right by the station, or we fill out here. So this will actually eliminate a bunch of unnecessary moves by being able just to come in here with the train and fill up your ballast, and off you go. And as you can see here, we have our retaining wall, and a loader can come right up and whoop, dump everything in here. This is beautiful ballast. It's gold right here. So anyway, folks, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the Tipple, any comments, anything like that, you know where to leave them. Thank you very much, and have a great evening.